Recognize that sound? Yes, it is the sound of you walking. How many miles are you going? How about 10, 20, even 50? You don't believe you can do that? Think again. Thank you for joining us on the Ageless Traveler, dedicated to making lifelong travel easy so you never stop traveling. I'm your host, Adriane Berg, and I'm excited to discuss one of my favorite topics, traveling for wellness at any age. Today, you'll hear from a dear friend and my original wellness coach as you meet Risa Olinsky. She honestly saved my life, took me from a cardiac cripple to a long-distance walker. Not kidding. I look and feel better at 75 than I did at 35, and that is Risa's doing. Better yet, Risa is on our Ageless Traveler Advisory Board, available to answer your personal questions on wellness. Now sit back, relax. All the resources we discuss are on our show notes at agelesstraveler.com. And while you're on the site, click the free gifts button. Join our Facebook salon and receive our exclusive fun goodies and the ability to ask all of our guests and our experts your personal questions. Risa, it is always such a pleasure to talk to you. But today is more of a pleasure than ever because we're talking to our brand new audience and all the folks who have really enjoyed Generation Bold for years and years and years. And you've been on our show so many times there. But we are talking about you as our expert wellness coach for the Ageless Traveler. And many people might say, well, what is a wellness coach? So what's a wellness coach?
Hey, well, Adriane, a wellness coach is a professional who can work with an individual on their total health and wellness. Now, that may sound a little redundant, but what it is when I'm working with somebody verbally, online, or in person, I am looking at the total person. I'm looking at how they sleep, how they eat, where they travel, what their lifestyle is. And that's how I'm designing a program for them. I'm looking at the total human being. That's in a nutshell.
And you're also looking at their drawbacks and all the things that they have to overcome to be consistently well. And everybody here knows that you were my wellness coach for decades, and you really brought me out from what they used to call a cardiac cripple to a pretty healthy, active older adult. Now, because we're talking about people who might be over the age of 50, and I started with you exactly when I was 50, what are some of the reasons that folks that age and much older would seek out a wellness coach?
When a person is 50 or older, they're pretty well established, I would say, probably in their careers. And many times they've sacrificed their health. Again, we're going to talk about travel. They've sacrificed because they've been limited on time. They've sacrificed health. They've sacrificed a lot of things to take care of families, relatives, and they've neglected themselves. And with that, they might have gained weight. They might have health, serious health issues, arthritis, joint problems. They might have sleep problems. They might have all these things that go into the wellness wheel, as I like to call it, a wellness wheel, which has many parts. So instead of seeking out only a trainer, which I am also a fitness trainer, they seek or look for somebody that can look at the total person. And that's the training of a wellness coach, to look at the total person.
And that's what we bring to you through with this particular expert, our wellness coach, Risa Olinsky, on all of our trips, as we do our pre and post Zoom meetings and online meetings to prepare you. Risa is truly remarkable. Let me tell you that she had a knee replacement. No, she's not invulnerable. She's just like you and me. And yet, shortly thereafter, about 8 months or so, she ran a triathlon. Now, we're going to hear about that and how she does that. I don't know if we'll do it, but it's certainly very motivating. Don't you go anywhere. I'm going to take a short break to tell you a little bit more about the Ageless Traveler and who we are. I want to tell you a little bit about the purpose and the origin of the Ageless Traveler. It's a spin-off of my award-winning podcast, Generation Bold, the fountain of truth about aging. My listeners are people who, like you and myself, are at a point in our lives when we want new excitement, new ways to give back to the world, whether we're working or we're retired. I've marshaled the best resources and people to help us do both. Ageless Traveler is not just a podcast or a blog or a Facebook salon. We're a movement for lasting relationship, ways to contribute throughout our lives, and preparedness for the fabulous decades ahead together through world travel. We can make a lasting impact as a community of active travelers and have the time of our lives. People visit Ageless Traveler for many reasons. Join our Facebook salon, get new travel buddies, find out the safest and the best way to travel, get discounts, and read more about the salon by clicking the free gifts button on the website menu. And become one of our Ageless ambassadors so you know exactly how you can contribute and how it contributes back to you. Never stop traveling. And now we're back with Risa. Now, you are very athletic. I mean, you don't only talk the talk, you literally walk the walk. And you actually had a knee replacement. And yet, very soon thereafter, you participated in the triathlon, which you have done many, many times. Now, how did you do that? How did you pull yourself out of post-surgery to a triathlon?
Well, wow. Well, I've done this a few times, and I did it after my shoulder surgery. I've had knee surgery. Signing up for a triathlon or any athletic event, in my opinion, sets a goal. It gives me something to look forward to. It gives me something to say to myself, okay, I've got 6 months, 8 months, 9 months to work towards this goal. And it's motivating. It's very motivating. And at my age, and I'm 68, it doesn't have to be that big an event. It could be simply for an individual, they want to walk a 5K, 3.1 miles, 2 miles, whatever. They want to walk a distance they may not have walked before. If you set that goal, you have something, a target. You have something to look forward to. To me, it's motivation. That's what it's all about. So I continually sign up for something, and my knee replacement was back in February, so I'm about close to 8 months. And I get up every day and I say, okay, I'm going to do what I can do. And if today's a good day, I'll do more. And if today isn't a great day, well, then maybe I'll take it a little easy. So I swim, I cycle, and I don't run that much. I don't really run anymore. I power walk. But the great news is 2 weeks ago, I followed up with my doctor that did my knee. And when I said I was doing a triathlon, you know what I said, but I'm not going to run, doctor. And he turned around, he said to me, you can run.
Wow, you can run. We're going to take a little bit of a break now to hear a bit about our trip. It's the very first Ageless Traveler trip we'll be going on with the very experienced Colette tour operators. So don't you guys go anywhere. Well, yeah, do go somewhere. Come with us to Portugal. We'll be right back. Come with us to Portugal, May 2024. You know, my mouth is watering as I read the Colette brochure for our May 11th to 24th trip to Portugal and the Azores. I can't wait to revisit Lisbon with you and show you its hidden museums, sip red wine, munch olives, and listen to the fado music. You know, that's a UNESCO heritage experience, but we're also going to bathe in the beauty of the Azores, peer down volcanic craters, stroll in the Terra Nostra Botanic Park. Now, come travel with us. And if you've got a group of 10 or more, or you're a nonprofit organization, discover the benefits of our group programs at Ageless Traveler, featured trips, and group trips. Don't forget, this is the kind of travel that will allow you to never stop traveling. And now back to Risa. Question: what is the most exhilarating recent act of travel you had?
35-year-old son took us to Olympic National Park. We had gone on a cruise. We did an Alaskan cruise, and then my son and his wife met us in Seattle, and we went 3 days and we hiked Olympic National Park. And honestly, it was heaven. Now, my son, who you know well, was very concerned about Mom. He was like, well, Mom, are you going to be okay? Is your knee okay? You can be okay? I said, Daniel, go for it. Let's go. And it was really only 2 days. We had 3 nights and 2 days, but it was magnificent. Up and down the mountains. And I said, don't hold back. I can do it. I do carry my trekking poles, which I always recommend for people. I do, I just go by my body. A couple of years before that, we did one of the other national parks. We did Yosemite. That was definitely challenging. And again, that was before my knee, so I had some limitations, but nothing will stop me.
Risa mentioned our national parks, and here is some news you can use. Do you love national parks as I do? Well, if you're 62 years or older, you can buy a $20 yearly pass or an $80 lifetime pass online. The pass covers entrance and standard amenity, day uses, recreation fees for pass holders, and their companions to more than 2,000 recreation sites managed not just by the National Park Service, but by Fish and Wildlife Service, Bureau of Land Management, Bureau of Reclamation, Forest Service, and the Army Corps of Engineers. At per vehicle areas, this one pass covers all passengers in a non-commercial vehicle. And where per person fees are charged, the pass covers up to 3 adult companions. Now, this is a bargain, and you'll find out all about it in our show notes and exactly where to go online to get your pass. And now we're back to Risa, because I really do want to know, where else does she want to travel? Now, what have you not done? What have you not done in sportive, active travel that's on your bucket list?
Interesting.
Now, I know that you are president. We all know you're president of Freewalkers. You've done 50-mile walks many, many times around the Potomac. Is there a particular long-distance walk that you would love? We've gone together on the Way and other places, but what's on your bucket list?
Adriane, you just said it. I was just looking at a former training client of mine that moved out west, and she just did another week of the Camino, the Way. I would love to go back and do more of the Portuguese Camino, the El Portuguese Camino that you and I did together. I would love to do more of that for another week, maybe 2. I just thought that was so magnificent. And if I did, I might like it if my husband came along and we did it together.
Well, that's the point. We're creating community here, and we're going to the Azores together. You mentioned Portugal. One of the things that we're offering is a beautiful Colette tour to Portugal, but not just Lisbon and Cascais and all the places that you may already have gone if you're listening and you're avid travelers, but to the Azores. And there we are going to hike a crater. So how will you help us? Whether you're with us, of course, you'll lead us. If you're not with us, you will be on our pre and post wellness continuation online meetings. How can you help us stay consistent in our wellness when we travel, when we kind of interrupt ourselves all the time to travel?
Okay. What I would first comes to mind is consistency on when you're at home, wherever you might live. The key to being able to travel and hike mountains and craters and all of that is to say to yourself, what can I do on a weekly basis? Where do I live? What are my options? And do I need to drive somewhere to go hiking? I'm very blessed and fortunate because I live right near the mountains, about a mile away from me. I can hike every single day. I did this morning. I go out. And basically, on a daily basis, I might do a minimum of 3 miles, maybe 4, maybe 5, and on weekends, maybe more. So consistency, I would say, in training for a trip is probably the most important thing. Then, of course, you want to have the right gear, which we can talk about in the future. You want to know what your elevations are. I know, Adriane, you and I have talked about that in the past.
Many times.
Right. And honestly, for elevation, there really is no way of physically training for elevation except to do it, because you can't create. If you live in, say, Florida, if you live somewhere where it's flat, you can't necessarily go out and train for mountains. You have to do it. So that's one thing. And then mentally, I'd say that the excitement of doing something will take over and you'll be enthusiastic. Like you said, positivity. Positivity is really the key. Everyone has limitations. As we get older, ageless travelers, we all have limitations. And I've, over the years, heard so many people say, oh, I can't do this, I have arthritis. I can't do that, I have arthritis. But you know what? Doctor once said to me, if you live long enough, you're going to have arthritis. There's no question.
Right,
You know,
right.
one joint or another. It's inevitable. But one of the key things with arthritis is to keep moving. That is a scientific fact. If it hurts, of course, you get medical approval and you check with your doctor. I have to say that all the time. But honestly, if it's arthritis and it hurts, you got to keep moving. So
Absolutely.
if you're planning on going away, you have to be consistent.
Well, actually, I have one wonderful thing to tell you. Even if you are living in flat territory, don't worry about it, because we will be doing some virtual walking together, virtual hiking together, virtual exercises together. So we prepare for any trip that we take together. The geroscientists I hang out with tell me that walking is the number one activity for longevity. That's why I want you to know about a nonprofit organization, Freewalkers. Walk with a friendly, dynamic group of all ages in person in New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, or virtually from anywhere worldwide. Join us in the spring in Maryland for a 2-day, 12-mile-a-day friendship walk. And if you need heartfelt motivation to walk, get a copy of Risa Olinsky's book. She's on our advisory board. It's called Why Walk? And speak with her for half an hour in person, complimentary too for our salon members. Find all the information at agelesstraveler.com at Products and Services. And now we're back with Risa. What would you like them to know from your heart as you speak to them about active sports travel and keeping fit and keeping well during this process of traveling?
My takeaway, my thought that I'd like to share with everyone is there is no age limit. I don't see age as an obstacle, that I feel that you can do anything, almost anything, I won't say anything, but almost anything you can start at any age. You asked me about my triathlons. I started a triathlon adventure, you might say, at 54 years old. 14 years ago, I did my first try, and it was wonderful. I had to train, I had to work at it, but there are things that really people say, oh, I can't do that because I'm too old. Honestly, I feel that you can do almost anything at any age within reason and safety. So that's really what my advice would be. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. Thank you. And thank you for doing all you do. I appreciate it. Thank you.
This is the part of the show I hate. We've come to the end of our discussion, but thank you for listening, and see the show notes on agelesstraveler.com for resources we mention on the show. And while you're there, click the free gift button to join our Facebook salon and receive the goodies that will make lifelong travel easy. Now, salon members can ask Risa and any of our guests or experts their questions to make your travel perfect. And if spas are your thing, you'll love our next episode when we learn the best treatments for your time and your money. This is Adriane Berg for the Ageless Traveler saying, never stop traveling.